Here's my goal today. I want to inform you, I want to give you facts, but I also just want to talk to you because getting a life insurance policy when you're unhealthy, it could be tricky, but it's not impossible. So that's the good news. And I want you to stick around until the end because I'm going to share with you three type of life insurance plans that you can get while you're unhealthy. But before that, I'm trying to grow my channel to about 500 subscribers by in 3 months. This is a brand new channel, and with your help, quick subscribe, a quick like, is going to take my motivation into a whole new level. So thank you so much. A quick little note. I've been an insurance agent now for close to 9 years, going 10 years next year. So let's talk about it. Life insurance for unhealthy people. As I've progressed in my career, I've come to realize that there's many people with different type of backgrounds, a different ethnicity, different culture that affects the certain lifestyle that they have. But no matter what may happen, there's really only two types of unhealthy people that we categorize in terms of a life insurance context. Before we talk about any solutions that you can get, I really want to talk about first two specific problems. And the first one really has to do with personal bankruptcy, where people mostly find themselves having to file the Chapter 11, Chapter 7 bankruptcy because of these few things. The first one, or job loss. As a matter of fact, in 2020, according to Reuters.com, there has been 481,000 job cuts so far in three. Do you remember a few years ago, I think 2021 or 2022, where there was a great resignation? People were basically leaving their jobs because they were making more money with their stimulus package or stimulus check that they were receiving on a month to month basis. And that to me was really crazy because it really shows that people, if they had the resources, would immediately pack up their things and leave an uncomfortable situation. And so medical expenses also have to be factored into bankruptcy. According to World Health Organization, about 1 out of 10 homes file bankruptcy because of sudden loss of a breadwinner in their family, or maybe a sudden episode of a critical illness, heart attack, stroke, cancer that happened to them. And it's very unfortunate. Then you consider how much interest has been rising in the last few years that I'm sure you've been following. The second problem that I also want to highlight is the fact that bad habits, eating habits, health behaviors, factory made foods, unhealthy desire for craving, all of this basically leads to obesity, and according to military times has been depicted as a real health crisis. I mean, think about that. Health, food, and obesity is a national threat and a national crisis. And so all of these things has been piling up on us while the cost of living keeps going up and your income stays the same. Most especially if you're looking for a life insurance today, because you're looking at the responsibilities that you have, and you also have people that you're responsible for that is looking after your care. And that thought possibly came into your mind where, what if something happens to me? Who will take care of my kids? Who will take care of my husband? Who will take care of my wife? I just really want to commend you for having that type of thought. For some reason, there's this bias conditioning that most people, when it comes to life insurance, they always put it aside. I'm going to get an insurance first for my car, for my health, for my laptop that I'm using right now. Any type of insurance that isn't about life. And that's actually the third problem that most of my clients have a hard time dealing with, is that when you're looking at life insurance, you have to look at mortality. And that is a fact that most people don't want to get into. But if you're watching this video, I have different hopes for you, because you want to prepare your finances for your future. And you also want to make sure that the people who are after your care are also going to be financially taken care of. I want to highlight the top 8 leading causes of death here in the United States. And you'll see in your screen that number one is heart disease, cancer, unintentional injuries, chronic lower respiratory disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes, influenza, and pneumonia. These are the top 8 leading causes of death here in the United States. And unfortunately, if you have any of these things, it will make your application to getting a life insurance policy a little bit tougher and longer than most people who are completely healthy. But again, like I said, it's not impossible. So let's talk about all the red flags that most insurance companies take a look at. And in your screen, you're going to see a list. Anything that you see highlighted are the ones that are automatically red flags, things like cancer, diabetes, HIV, and obesity. Now, when I say that, those are red flags, but not necessarily going to get denied right away. Now, obviously, if you have cancer today, or maybe if you had cancer in the last 3 years, 5 years, there is a high chance that you're not going to get approved. Same thing goes for heart attack, stroke, or cancer. If it literally happened to you in just the last year, then you can't expect yourself getting approved. But if you have been out of that condition, maybe cancer, for example, you've been out of it for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, or more, then the likelihood of you getting a policy has definitely increased. But minor conditions like asthma, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, these are things that most insurance companies are more forgiving. And here's my biggest tip: be as honest as you can. Also, give a timeline on when you got that diagnosis and what type of maintenance you're taking today, because this will cut the timeline of the underwriting process in half. Now, what is the underwriting process? The underwriting process is where me, as an insurance agent, filled out the application on your behalf. Then I submit this to the underwriter. The underwriter will take a look at the checklist, all the questionnaires that you've answered, and they are basically the middleman between you and the insurance carrier for you getting approved. Now, there is a particular condition that I wanted to take a look at a little bit more deeply, and this is diabetes. Now, long time ago, if you had diabetes, whether if it's type 1 or type 2, it was an automatic disapproval in any insurance carrier that you go with, unless they allowed you to get an insurance policy for a higher premium where you could find yourself paying a little bit of more, between $200 to $500 worth of premium. And I'm going to share you guys a quick clip in here where Joe Rogan had a guest talking about just the cost of diabetes. And I want you guys to pay attention to just how astonishing these facts are about diabetes and where we're currently at to where we're eventually headed if we don't stop this epidemic.
Thought of it that way. Who could have ever imagined that literally all of our budget would go to taking care of people's health by 2040?
Yeah.
That's not long.
It's not long.
That's
And,
22 years from now.
Let me give you a few examples just to make this more clear. So the cost of treating a patient with type 2 diabetes is estimated to be $14,000 a year, okay? So we know now that 100 million Americans, that's like a third of the population, have either prediabetes or type 2 diabetes.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
CDC just published these numbers. 100 million Americans.
That's insane.
Pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes.
1/3?
1/3. And
That is, I'm having a hard time with this.
yeah.
If you had just asked me, like, what percentage of Americans?
So from that, 37 million people of all ages, in which 11% of the population have diabetes. Nearly 1 in 5 between ages of 12 to 18 years old, and 1 in 4 young adults between 19 to 34 years old have diabetes. And the care costs for diabetes are growing to at least 20% per year after year. Back in 2021, if you had type 1 or type 2 diabetes, your average healthcare costs can range between $14,000 all the way up to $18,000 annually. And if you multiply that in 30 years for healthcare maintenance, that's between $400,000 to $600,000 total care cost. And this is astonishing because if you think about it, most people have less than $400,000 inside their 401k on time for retirement. And you're telling me if you're currently going through a diabetes, for example, most of your retirement funds will eventually go to just the maintenance cost. So what can we do about this? Knowing how expensive healthcare maintenance is, whether if it's cancer, diabetes, lupus, no matter what it is, how much more healthcare cost, living cost, childcare costs can you take before you tap out and give up? Because honestly, this is what leads to most personal bankruptcy more than any other reason. Healthcare costs is bankrupting more Americans than ever today. But let's take a deep breath because there's hope. So how can we actually tap into this hope and create a lasting change in our life? Well, the first thing that we got to look at is changing our habits and behaviors. You see, I'm a life coach also by profession in the side. And one of the things that I also teach my clients in my coaching calls is that in anything, finances and fitness, changing your life in these two areas starts with habits and behaviors. And normally, to change our habits, it's a switch of our attitude. But switching our attitude is not like a light bulb switch where you can just flick it on and off and on and off, because it just doesn't work that way. So here's where you can start. Finding out first what the end result can look like for you. And then second is planning ahead. And watching this video is exactly what you're doing. You are planning ahead for the eventual application that you're going to submit to the insurance carrier. And this time you're prepared. And then behaviors. The behaviors around how you take care of your body, how you take care of yourself, what kind of food that you eat. All these things are also factors that will eventually help you transform your life. Now, what are 5 benefits that you can get once you get yourself covered? The first one is transferring any financial obligations and risk away from yourself to the insurance carrier. Simply put, instead of you paying all the necessary bills that eventually will be needed once you are diagnosed or find yourself ill, then you're transferring that risk to the insurance company. The second one, all your funeral expenses will be covered. A pro tip on this one is finding how much a piece of land or that coffin that you're looking for is going to cost, and if your family is possibly going to have some sort of reception for the celebration of your life. I know that's weird to talk about, but I just kind of have to mention that. The third one is all your outstanding debt will also be paid off. Normally, life insurance coverage are enough to pay off most debts. The fourth is that all your family members will be financially taken care of upon your passing. Lastly, peace of mind. Now, I know you're unhealthy today. Maybe you have a condition that you can reverse, or maybe you have a condition that you can't reverse. But I will tell you this. There is nothing more powerful than buying peace of mind. The peace of mind to know that your family is taken care of, and the peace of mind to know that the next day you don't have to think about money. All you should think about is your health and how you're going to recover. The biggest dilemma that most of my clients eventually face is having to choose between money or being there for their family. And trust me, that is a question that you always 100% of the time want to be there for your family, than having to go out there looking for a second or third job just so you can pay the bills and leaving your family behind. You don't want that ever. Thinking about life insurance is definitely a great way for you to change your financial future, because here's eventually what's going to happen once you get this insurance policy. You're going to keep paying your premium every single month, hoping for that day to come later down the road, maybe 30 years down the road or more. But eventually that time will come where the insurance company will have to pay out to you or the family that you're going to leave behind. So here are 3 types of insurance policy that you for sure can take advantage of today while you are unhealthy. Number 1 is a guaranteed life insurance policy. Now, a guaranteed life insurance policy is exactly what it sounds like. No matter what your health condition is, whether if it's minor all the way up to life-threatening, you are definitely guaranteed to get an insurance policy. Now, here's a catch. Because you are a risk to the insurance company, then you can expect your premium to be this high, but the coverage amount that you're going to get is going to be this low. Now, I know that seems unfair, but unfortunately, this is a reality that all of us have to look at. The other thing that you should know is that this is available generally between people who are 50 years old to 85 years old. Your coverage are often limited. The acceptance rate on this one is guaranteed, regardless your condition. And so the type of situation that most people would normally get a coverage like this is for people that has got a life insurance policy when it's a little bit too late. The second type of insurance policy that you can get is a simplified issue life insurance. Now, this policy basically caters to anyone that has any health concerns, and it may involve simplified underwriting process if needed. There's no medical exams, but applicants may need to answer a simplified health questionnaire, and more than likely your premiums could be between moderate to really high, depending again on your health issue. Third and final is a graded life insurance benefit. This type of policy basically covers individuals with any health issues, but it often comes with graded benefit. Now, the death benefit is usually paid out over a period of time, normally between 1 to 2 years, and in some cases, If the policyholder does pass away during the initial period, the full death benefit may not be paid out. Instead, the beneficiary may receive the premiums that you, as a policyholder, have paid out during that time. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a quick video that I wanted to create for you. I hope you the best of luck for you getting your insurance coverage. And if you want to work with me, then I'm going to leave a link down below. That being said, please don't forget to like this video, comment down below something that you learned, or maybe if you have any questions, I'll do my best to get back to you. And subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel as fast as I can with a goal on 5,000 followers in 6 months. So that being said, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video.